Alright guys, welcome to the sneak peek video where I just want to kind of roughly tell you guys about the new abyssal era and the new generation of monsters above mythics. That is right, we are finally, but also worryingly, about to move into a new generation of mythics. Now, it's all super weird, like the way they've decided to work everything, it's confusing. So I'll try and take you guys through everything so you have a rough idea, because it's clear that their idea was just to change everything. So I'll start going over the changes. If there's a monster skill sheet, I'll roughly go over it, give you an idea if the monster's good, but I don't want to linger for too long because this video could be like 30 minutes. Look at how much scrolling I had to do just to get up here. So first, they're doing a name changing compensation. We understand you've experienced issues with your custom Monster Master name recently, so we're giving you the chance to enter it again. Remember, this action can be done in settings and can only be applied once. Choose wisely. Alright, so that is obviously a reference to the fact that you can only choose one name, and that is your forever name in this game. So it looks like some people were having problems, so they can re-enter theirs. That's actually pretty awesome. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, yeah. Next is the Christmas card flip challenge they're going to be doing, which actually has 3 great monsters, 2 greater than the other one, but still. So it is the basic holiday flip challenge, you know, flip your cards, get 3 mythics. But this time, they've got Teddy Bomb, one of the best mythic deniers we ever had. He absolutely ran the era when he was released, and, like, he's definitely still worth picking up, even just as a mythic, because whenever you use mythics, he's going to be one of your better options. I know there's the new generation coming out, but still. Then you've got Jaeger Year-End, a questionable Pierce monster. He's great, man. People were able to get really good with him. I'm not sure how that strategy worked out. I'm going to have to, like, find out how that works, and then I'll do my monster review. But he's a pretty great monster. And Shadonia, who is basically like the UV Fusion update. She's just amazing. She can cleanse, trade, disable, turn, transfer infinitely. So then you've got the Darman Santa Fraternity event, which that is all just to basically say they are releasing a Darman Santa who is almost entirely one-to-one a reskin of the first Darman, except now he can cleanse, which is actually really great. That cleansing is an important ability that made his first one kind of bad. You've got Azahin, sure. And he is the PvP monster. He's got taunt. I think he might be pretty good, but I'll have to check out his skill set. And here is the new era symbol, the ancestors. It is, oh my god, it's a handful. The ancestor thing, it's got so much little gimmicks, little everything to it that it's just confusing to think about. So I'll make sure my reactions stay. New multiplayer monster, Azin. Alright, and then as I said, his evolving trait is taunt, immune to bleed, gains 50% shield. So I don't really know how good he's going to be, but it'll be pretty nice. Just to have a free taunt monster, and you can get them, like, easily maxed out in the rank up survival dungeon, that's nice. So, and I will say, I don't know if I made it clear yet, but the next era is the abyssal era. It is a new era? Yeah, okay. It is a new era, season 1 of the abyssal era, and then you're going to see some of the monsters that are supposed to be the driving forces for it. Okay, Darman Santa, alright. These 2 are virtues. Monster will deal 25% more damage, so basically a damage increase. And then skill mirror virtue, where any attack you do to them will be reflected, and virtues can't be disabled. Okay, so this is really confusing, and it looks super powerful. So here, you'll understand shortly when I go over what virtues are. Here's Corelia. It is just the combination of, like, it is the new era's rank up material. There's nothing new here, really. There's the chest, fraternity. That's the Darman Santa design. Leave your thoughts on that in the comments down below. It is hilarious. I quite like it because it is, like, the most original design, funnily enough, I've seen in a while. They just threw a Santa garb all over him. He looks pretty sick, honestly. I dig the design. I'll give Darman that. All right, this is the bad new battle pass that people like me have been dealing with. Really bad. Really hope you don't get that. All right, just cross your fingers. All right, and the first era maze monster is the Griffina Ironwing. Hold on. Okay, I'm confused. Collect maze tokens to go down the path of cells to rank up Pigkin, as well as tons of precious seasonal summoning tickets you'll need to summon. Oh, so there are 3 summoning monsters this time? This says you'll need to summon Griffina, Ironwing, Pyronic, and Reitosama. So are those all summoning monsters now? Like there's 3 instead of 1? Alright. Okay, Pandolf's Conjuring. Okay, Griffina, Ironwing. Get the summoning tickets from all the methods. Bring them to the season to get Griffina Ironwing, our very first ancestor. Alright. So Griffina Ironwing is an ancestor that you get out of the summoning. It says that you can get most of the ancestors only out of this. So Griffina Ironwing is a light and metal attacker with evasion, pierce, and damage increase skills. What? Oh, hell no. Alright, they're starting off with the power creeping instead of waiting this time. That is insane for a new era, and you're already starting off like that? What monster will be able to stand a chance against that? That's... okay, we'll see. And then you can also, if you don't get that abyssal monster... No, if you don't get that ancestor, you can also get 2 abyssal monsters, which it doesn't make sense. They've released mythics and abyssals and ancestors side by side, meaning that you're just releasing outdated things and then way too OP monsters. It's stupid. You'll also be able to summon 2 mythics, which are Rhysotama, a light metal tank with heal, stun, lifesteal, and life regeneration, and Pyronic, a water attacker with hurt, which just means damage. Yeah, it says, like, shortly down there that hurt is just a code for damage, and then 3 good dots. We'll see if that guy's worth anything. Maybe he'll have cold blood, and then he's usable. So, alright. Chlora Claws. Look at that. Darman has, like, a missus, apparently. Alright, Duke of Atlantis, everybody. He is a mythic that is going to be the Era Saga shop mythic. Here's Rhysotama. As you saw, he is a tank in the seasonal dungeon. Duke of Atlantis, full design. I don't know, he looks a bit silly, like a Pixar version of the original Duke of Atlantis. Like, he's a father of, like, 3 kids, and he owns a fisher business to me. Like, I don't know, it's not as impressive as his last one. And then here's Pyronic. They both look a little bit silly, but, you know, it's cool. Existence, hurt, yeah, basically, oh... Okay, hurt means damage by percentage. So that means, like, removal 30% life and removal 60% life. Here's Ozjin, the PvP monster. Ancestral Habitat. Yeah, so they're really new monsters. Like, the way they worded it in the original stuff, they were like, ancestors are... They'll have virtues that are activated, certain things, this and that. They worded it so confusingly, so they're clearly trying to implement multiple things on this, and I'll see if I go over it. So yeah, they have their own habitat now, which is it's gonna have a lot of gold. You're gonna want ancestral habitats everywhere, just like with the mythics. There's the logo. The logo goes hard. This actually looks like a samurai helmet, and it looks like like a trident, which is actually really sick because, you know, trident, and then there's also the Fury Dojo that's teaming up with them. So I really just want to know what this... Oh, is... No, that guy can't be the ancestor, but that guy's design is pretty sick. I like it. Alright, so here's the books. The old Sea Guard, which definitely Hydroian is going to be in there. There's the new wave. Alright. And here's the new Abyssal Era. There's a new generation of monsters in the game. The Abyssal Mythic monsters are the strongest to date. In fact, they're so strong, they don't need to learn talents. Which that is really shocking. That means they're not doing talents anymore for the Abyssal Era. So that's something to keep in mind. On the other hand, Astronite can now only be used to rank up galactic monsters. If you want to discover the full, don't forget to go to dungeons, play Dungeons Era Sagas. During this era, Okay, here's another big change. During this Era Saga, there will just be one Era Saga per season with any monster of a specific faction. That means fun for all. So this means if, let's say, you tried to do Sir Valgar's Era Saga, but you couldn't because you could only use the... you had 2 good Light Kingdom monsters, but Sir Valgar was just bad. You couldn't make use of him. Well, now the bee is back. Well, now you can use any monster from the faction instead of having to use the one main protagonist. So that'll be interesting to see how the lore adapts to that. Instead of just one main guy now, it's just a group. I think it'll be like what's his name? Fungus Head? Whatever, the fungus monster from the Corrupted Era. He was a race monster who had his own Era Saga. He walked around with like 2 buddies, and it was really cool. So I think it'll just be like that now. But yeah, New Era doesn't have any talents. That is a big thing to just throw out there. Alright, so Abyssal Era Season 1 will need Righteous Court monsters. Seems like you no longer need a specific monster. You got your Righteous Court monsters ready. Alright. The Abyssal Era is here. Just recapping. Okay, here it is. Meet the Ancestors. Ancestors are a new rarity of monsters. Each of them belong to a faction. So this means there will be 1 monster per faction. Like, okay, so for those of you guys who don't understand what faction is a certain kind of book where a book is used for an Era Saga. For example, the Light Dungeon... No. What did I just go over? Righteous Court monsters, that is a faction. It is a book of monsters from a certain faction. So is the Underworld Dwellers, Old Guard, Pure Gia, stuff like that. So those are factions, and each of those factions will have an ancestor for anyone confused by the wording. These extraordinary monsters will be available only at their gate in Pandolf's Conjuring. So this means you will only be able to get these crazy OP ancestor monsters by gambling. Big disappointment. I'm really not even sure if they'll even be possible to get. Like, no one has Monster Device because it was like impossible to get him without selling your soul. And now they're asking for you to do that for the most OP monsters in the game. Okay, so Ancestors change the rules of the game. Once specific conditions are met, they will awaken, transforming into their powerful form. They'll obtain 2 virtues. Virtues, as we saw before, traits that cannot be disabled. And ready to launch their special skill at your command. So I'm not sure if special skill means finisher, because the finisher in this game is called special, or if it's just like a very strong attack. Once you unleash the Ancestor special skill, they will go back to their regular form and prepare to awaken their power again. So the way it worded that, I thought it was like an item, like a bomb you could set off, and then it'd go idle again. But actually, it looks like it's just a very OP monster with OP things called virtues. It's all so weird. So what should you know? They live in their own habitats. They can't learn talents. This is actually an amazing thing. I think they'll go back on this eventually, as they said they weren't going to release mythics with Megaton, but they did. So I think they're eventually going to make talents for them. Or no, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say it's not talents. They're just going to give it a different name and pretend like it's not the same thing. Alright, so they can't earn talents, though. That is a big thing. They cannot keep up with, like, the OP talents of the Galactic Era and such. So that is pretty important. You can't have 2 ancestors of the same type. No duplicates. Alright, it's the same thing with mythics. And they can only be ranked up with their own cells. So you can... Azajin's description is actually, like, pretty hardcore. Azajin nearly destroyed War Master Sherazar hand-to-hand in combat, but the War Master managed to accidentally imprison him in a snack container and put the genie under his control. Since then, Azajin has been obligated to serve the Magic Council, fighting at their side whenever summoned. That's pretty hardcore, man. You just imprisoned him forever. I mean, he was trying to destroy you, but still, you didn't have to, like, do that to him. You didn't have to do him like that. All right, and here's the new rarity of relics. ancestral relics. Now, the funny thing is they are just reskins of bronze relics, but added to that, they are supposed to be the oldest relics, and the bronze relics are always worn down, kind of like this banner. So that'll explain why they're like that, and also why they're pretty bad. The exclusive new tier of relics has been created for abyssal mythics and ancestors. So I don't think anyone below abyssal mythics and ancestors can use this, and I don't think you want them to. These are pretty bad. They will introduce new skills. They will be similar to talents, but more balanced. They will introduce new skills or abilities depending on the faction or generation of monsters you fight against. So that bit is important. They're specifically for factions and fighting generations. You can get your first ancestral relics from the Legends Pass, alright? So Legends Pass will give it up. I don't know if it'll give it to you for free, because it says the Legends Pass, the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass is the PvP one. And the PvP one, you always have to pay for the special relics, so I think it means you're going to have to pay for this. And the upcoming equipment challenge. So, as in, let me just check them out. Bane and Curse to all. I like that. Possession to 1, Bane, Curse to all. I like it. Okay. Bane, damage protection. Moderate to all, 50% to shields. Applies 50% to itself. Deals moderate magic to him. Possess. Plus 50%. Blocks out. Deals moderate. Okay, I love Ajin. He is an amazing free monster. I'm definitely going to be grinding PvP next season. Mirage checks. Alright. Chlor Claws. She's just an elf monster. Like an elf for the Christmas event. It's about to be Christmas in this new era. We're going to have some Christmas monsters coming out. Then there's the Duke of Atlantis, upgraded from the Lord of Atlantis. It's funny, they're usually crawling at the bits to make another lord. Alright, so he vows to find the culprit behind the disappearance of Coralina. Didn't they do that already? Yeah, they literally did that with the Doomsday Era. They were trying to find out who stole the nectar. Alright, so Duke of Atlantis. I'll go over his skills real quick. Oh yeah, he's really bad. For an Era Saga monster, they're usually massively OP. Not this time. So look, applies a negative effect protection to one enemy. Negative effect protection. So now they have a negative effect block? Whoa. Gives 50% of stamina to all allies. Removes torches from all allies. So you could give that... After further thinking and consideration, I've realized that negative effect protection is protecting the enemy's negative effects so that they can't cleanse it away. So, let's see. Activates cooldown, stamina to all allies, restores cooldowns, stamina regen. Cleanse, restores cooldowns, removes torches. Yeah, this guy he's basically Tubercon, but even worse. So he is worse than a PvP monster who was bad. Tubercon could activate cooldowns, give stamina, and cleanse. But this guy, he tries to activate cooldowns, give stamina, and then remove tortures. He's got he's a negative effect protection and removing tortures. It's really just not impressive for a $50 monster. And look what it said. Now they're trying to make a Era Saga shop monster, so basically the $50 monster, and not the $50 battle pass monster, but that means there's a shop offer for a monster that costs $50 that is usually supposed to be great, but they never really are. Mighty Thebes. Alright, so she is a denier. Let's see. Water Dark Controller with stamina removal, fear, stamina remove. Did I say it twice? Stamina leak. Remove taunt. Very niche. Alright, so let's see her moves. I'll just look at her best ones. Deals moderate water damage to all enemies. 100% stamina leak. Then gives stamina leak. Alright, I mean, at least it's the same as before. Removes taunt from one enemy. Deals moderate damage. Okay, I don't get this. If you're going to remove taunt, then make it like a remove taunt AoE so that you can at least make some argument for running it. But remove taunt, then single denial is pointless, because then you're still just attacking the monster with taunt. I don't get it. Alright. Decreases one enemy's maximum stamina. Deals low water damage to all enemies. apply stamina leak. She has the skill set of like a bad monster, like someone who's released in Maze and nobody ever cares for. Removes 25% of stamina from one enemy. Removes 50. That's not even 100% of stamina removal to anyone. That, oh my god. Let's see. Low fear stamina. Applies damage boost, stamina regeneration. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm sorry to all the people who thought Thedes, because the old one was so OP back in her day, they were going to give her the same treatment now. They absolutely did not. Alright, so let's see. We can kind of ignore the descriptions. There's Pigkin. He's the free Legends Pass monster, but remember, now you don't even need the Legends Pass monster for the Era Saga, so now it's more of a get if you want, don't get if you don't want, which means they are going to be a lot weaker, as I just showed you, by Mighty Thedes being absolutely awful. So Pigkin. I'm hoping Pigkin will be better than her. Ooh, on this like third turn, he's got a massive attack. He's already better than her. So, I don't know how many cooldowns. I'm hoping low. So, deals low, moderate, bleed. Alright, it's metal damage. He's a metal attacker. Already, that's pretty good. Applies shock, deals moderate thunder damage. Alright, shock is pretty good. Thunder damage to one, shock to all. Okay, he's got a massive metal. He's just a nice attacker, right? Like, his skill set is pretty basic, but pretty great for an attacker. It really all depends on if his trait is great or not. You know, that'll make or break this. And his finisher doesn't apply pierce or anything, so he's no better. Alright, this is Griffina Ironwing, the first ancestor that we have word of. So she is a light and metal attacker with evasion, pierce, and damage increase skills. Absolutely insane. So deals heavy light damage to one enemy, no cooldown. Low light AoE, no cooldown. Moderate metal damage to one enemy, no cooldown. So already a metal pierce monster is going to absolutely destroy the meta. We live in a light meta, but this guy has metal attacks, so, and he's a new rarity, so say goodbye to the light meta. Applies evasion, very heavy metal. So let's look. The best moves are really where it's at. So applies pierce to itself, does massive light damage to one enemy, applies evasion to itself. So he's got the Elvira Demon Slayer massive attack then evasion skill, but with pierce. Deals heavy metal damage to all enemies, minor blind. That's heavy metal AoE. With pierce, you're done. Light monsters are gone. They're done. Deals insane metal damage to one enemy. Applies daze, moderate AoE, daze. Only thing is, his skill set kind of screams, and she's also got a stun, a damage boost, extra turn. Those are two great things on a pierce monster. The stamina boost, the damage boost, extra turn reminds me of Elfira. So the only thing this does remind me of is, it's at the top of my tongue. His skill set, it absolutely screams to me Beambot, someone without pierce normally, like without the status cast or anything like that. So if this guy doesn't have trait pierce, which by this move alone, applying pierce then removing it, it doesn't. And if this monster, I really don't, yeah, because you wouldn't have a massive light damage to one enemy and applies evasion if you had an insane metal damage to one enemy, applies daze, right? Why would you have pierce on the massive one? So unless this guy has like a rank 5 status caster, which I think it might be that, I think he's going to be a monster with no pierce other than the one crazy strong attack, which that'd actually be pretty balanced. In fact, there's a good chance that if it is like that, he doesn't have any pierce normally, he'd be completely ignored in the meta. But then again, he's an ancestor. His stats are going to be through the roof. Oh my god. So expect to see him. No way. I think this guy is basically, Chloroclaws is literally just a remake of Teddy Bomb. So fire nature controller, so literally fire nature as well, although you can argue those are Christmas elements. With baby reversions, I absolutely love anyone who turns people into babies on purpose. It's hilarious. Cold blood and cooldown activation, burn and poison skills. Alright, so applies cold blood, activates cooldowns on all enemies, applies burn. Oh, so it keeps the cold blood. It does an AoE denial, so now you can go past Mega Taunt, and go attack anyone. Then you've had a moderate nature damage to one enemy, applies baby reversion to all. So already, I just like no Xmas gifts. That just means you basically have a denial pierce. And then you're definitely going to have to do that one first, though, because then you've got moderate AoE with 2 dots fire and burn. Then you've got your moderate, you've got your baby version AoE. You've got, okay, so this is good. This is what I like to see. Shush. Yo, bird, okay? Listen to that move. Shush. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Shush activates cooldowns on one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. This means that you're going to be able to deny a lot easier, right? Because usually the biggest downside to this skill set was you're still going to find dodge area everywhere. So it doesn't even matter if you can go past taunt. You need to have a single denial, then denial to all. It is the best counter to people like Uriel. Because as you might have seen in my most recent war video, Uriel is everywhere. But if you have a denial to one, denial to all, which is luckily a popular like move type, you can completely go past that. So yeah, you've got the cold blood. Once you apply the cold blood, maybe the enemies other than the dodge area one are already cooldown deactivated because, you know, it's the cooldown AoE. Then next turn, you're going Shush, then your baby reversion, and then hopefully you have a pierce attacker so the baby reversion isn't a downside because, you know, being disabled, I mean, you know what, I'll just say in this team, if you don't have pierce, have a setup move, you know? Because you don't want the babies to be reverted and then they lose all of their negative effects. Maybe they had vulnerable, maybe you lose... you had triple damage and now you can't use it. So just keep that in mind when you're running this attacker. No, this denier, but I think she's great. She is the $50 Legends Pass monster, sadly. You know, if this was a Tails monster, it would have literally just been a new Teddy Bomb and I would have been all for it. I could absolutely, like, simp this monster for sure. And then here are the ancient relics. I know I spent a long time getting to this. So... after damage, you know, I'll just tell you, basically, seems like a pretty good sword because of the control thing. But the ancient relics, it's funny that they're designed after the bronze relics because they're actually all really bad. They are niche to the max. Because you need to look, if an enemy is from the galactic era or older generations, that is so specific. I mean, okay, so that one's not that specific. Every monster that isn't an ancestor is going to fit that bill. But still, minor damage boost, even that isn't that great. It's pretty nice, but it's not that great. Look at this. If all allies are from the Fury Dojo faction at the start of the battle. So, you need to run an entire Fury Dojo team if you want to even get the best benefit out of this armor. Usually the other two are either decent or bad. But the whole thing now is that the factions, you really... Hey, what'd I say? You gotta be quiet, bird. I don't know this bird's name. He's giving me lip. All right. So you need to be part of the Fury Dojo. You need to be part of the Righteous Court. Although this one will give you anticipation. That's pretty clean. You know, you need to be part of the New Wave. You need to be part of Cosmos Civilizations. That's the big gimmick of these relics. That you need to be a part of a certain faction in order to be able to use them. You will be getting these out of the battle passes. I think I read that already. So yeah, keep that in mind. These new relics, they might seem scary on the surface, but they are so incredibly niche that there's really no reason to fear them. So there's just description. Darman Santa description. I want to read that. Darman Santa is making a list and checking it twice, but not to say whether monsters are naughty or nice. Instead of using his naughty list to see which monsters need to learn some important life lessons before he can give them holiday gifts. All right, pretty wholesome lore. It actually fits in with what his channel does, which is always rare. Okay, here's Pironic. This is another one of the two monsters you're going to be getting out of the summoning. Okay, no, it's the conjuring. You know, this is one of the two monsters you'll be able to get out of it. So, okay, and I was right. Hurt does mean damage by percentage. So, 30% life removal, nanovirus, moderate dark, toxins, removes 15% of life from all nanovirus toxins, moderate to one, moderate to all, toxins. Okay, I don't know. I would say I love this monster if he had higher damage output, because an attacker being able to remove percent, do nanovirus, toxins, and poison is a very great, like, combo. But the fact is, he doesn't have that high damage. He does have a moderate to one, moderate to all, and then he has a moderate dark AoE. He has a moderate dark to one, poison to 1/0 cooldown. But overall, I don't think they're the best. They're definitely pretty good. It'll be just a nice niche attacker, but they're not the best. And I expected them to be lifesteal since it's, you know, Piranha. Although I suppose piranhas in real life aren't really lifesteal type monsters. Rhizotama. Okay, so this is the other guy. You'll get Piranha and Rhizotama out of this, The Conjuring. So let's see what he can do. I think he'll be a lot better. Although Azajin, yeah, the PvP monster is a great taunt monster. Absolutely need to pick up. So, apply stun to one enemy, deals moderate, steals life, and life regen. Alright, I love that. That is literally almost copy and pasted from one of my favorite monsters. One of my favorite Doomsday Megaton monsters. Snow Abomination? Is that what it's called? I think it's something like that. Okay, so, you know, you do the stun, you give yourself the sustainability. Ogre, Igaku, increases maximum life by 20%. That is weird. Okay, so increases its maximum life by 20%. Alright, so that is the first time I think we've seen a specifically 20%. Very niche. Okay, then heals all allies by 50, applies 50% damage meter to all allies. Pretty good. I like that it has team support. Applies increased healing to itself, applies life regeneration and 25% damage mirror. Alright, so damage mirror is the kind of thing where if you apply a 50, then it'll remove the 25. If you apply a 25, it'll remove the 50. So you kind of want to make sure the moves don't mess up with each other. Shachu Charm deals low moderate to one enemy, life steal. Okay, who would be life stealing on a low moderate? Like, I guess with this and the top move, it is dealing metal damage. So if you life steal with metal damage, you're probably attacking light monsters. Since it's the light meta, maybe it does enough damage to be worthwhile. But the biggest thing is that it applies a 50% life mirror. I personally think you would run the low light damage to one enemy applies life regen. I think that's a lot better than the Sochu Charm. But anyways, okay, so that's him. Darman Santa. I'm trying to give you guys a rough idea because I didn't want to go over every single monster, but I really want to give you guys a rough idea, a good look at the leaks and what's coming up so that you can have a great idea. Because a lot of people like me before, and maybe like people who watch my channel, because I specifically am, you know, beginner friendly on this channel, that might not have access to the leaks, might just don't know where it is. So yeah. Applies triple damage to one enemy during one turn. Stamina regen. That is literally copy and paste from his normal version. Okay, applies stamina regen, removes all negative effects. This is what the old Darman didn't have, an AoE cleanse. So it's nice, but, you know, it really should have been stamina regen, damage boost, then cleanse. You know, 50% damage boost. Because now you've got a move that doesn't do any damage buffing, but does cleanse. Right? Moderate damage to all enemies, applies damage boost. You see, there's the damage boost, but now he has to attack, which you don't really want in a buffer. You don't want them taking those, you know, reflection relics. And, okay, so gives 30% of stamina, heals 30% of stamina, alright. Gives 60% of stamina to all allies, heals by 30%. I mean, last time it was just 30-30, now it's 60-30. Not much different, but slightly better, I'll give it that. Gives precision and immunity to freeze to all allies. I don't know why he cares about freeze. Like, it's literally advertised in his lore that he can give immunity to freeze. Oh, because Christmas. Alright. Well, still, kind of weird. It doesn't change really anything. So, one thing I did notice here is that he doesn't have any double damage moves. So, sadly, he's not one of those great buffers where you can give triple damage, double damage, damage boost. He only has damage boost, triple damage, and now cleansing. He doesn't even have any more healing. Like, I really hoped that this one would have more healing with the stamina regen, because the last one was great. He was super sustainable, and he could keep you, like, with all of those damage boosts, and he'd give you stamina and health on, like, a 0 turn, on, like, a, what was it? I think it was 0 stamina, 2 turn cooldown, which was pretty great. Sadly, this new one doesn't have it, so, that's that. Those are the Darman Santa, book requirements. All right, that's a good way to word it. All right, here's the pre-era battle screen, the thing you'll see before it'll, like, collapse in front of you when you log into a PvP match or grand duels or normal duels. Pretty clean design, honestly. Here's the Coralina. You know, it's pretty basic. It's always going to be in the shape of a cell, although it's a lot more unique than the other ones. Like, it's literally not even a cell, although Nectar, you know, it kind of had to be specific. This is really cool, though. I like it. It won't exit. What's happening? Oh, that's why. Okay, all things solved. Now here's the last thing of this video, the Ancestor tutorial move. Okay, so basically, new rarity, special move button. In order to awake the Ancestor and unleash its full potential, the team has to meet certain conditions, shown on the special button mode for charging and the awakening mode. So basically, and you can see it down here, if you block certain amount of, okay, so every Ancestor is going to have their special move, instead of it being 3% chance to get, it'll have it like, you have to do 15 million damage to activate it, and then it'll do it. I'm kind of scared what it could be, because if it's like, get 15 dots simultaneously to do Pierce Mega Stun to all enemies, that's really easy with someone like Teddy Bomb. So it's quite scary to think that now some finishers will have conditions, especially finishers on OP monsters. Although some of these are pretty niche, like your team has to cleanse a certain amount of time. You have to put a certain amount of tortures and control. The amount of damage is really easy. Blocking an amount of damage, really hard. So that's probably going to be the one given to the most OP monsters for balancing purposes, I hope. But the other ones are pretty easy. The cleansing negative effects, and it's one of those things that it really depends on your enemies, you know? How many negative effects, how much damage they're going to do to you. But, you know, that's whatever. So that's their special move. They have the charging energy. Whoa, okay. A leaf literally floated across me, and I thought it was a dog or something. Phew. So, you can also follow the progress. So, basically, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the new status effect, you know, traits, relics, talents bar that they added. But now they made that, so now for Ancestor monsters, they'll have an Ancestor bar. It'll show you how charged it is, what your progress is, like how much damage you did to the enemies, how close you are to the finisher and stuff like that. So that'll be a new thing to look for. I think, yeah, you can see it on the enemies too. So, and then I love this sentence though. Build your strategies based on your own ancestors or the enemy ones. Meaning you can look at your enemy, you can see what he's trying to do. Like if he's trying to get 15 dots, make sure they don't get any dots. If he's trying to do a certain amount of damage, make sure you're protected or something. That bit, I'll give it that. Could be really fun. Kind of like you're trying to make sure they don't pull out the ultimate card. I'll give it that one. That could be pretty fun in motion, although we'll see. Because if it's just what sounds like a finisher that it would be okay to be able to do if you met a certain criteria that hypothetically you could meet over and over. Like if you need to do 1 million damage, you can pretty easily do that over and over. So what's a finisher that is okay for you to do that often? Honestly, I don't know. Finishers, special moves, I'm sorry to the one guy who commented on my other video, called them specials, not finishers, tend to be pretty OP. So it's either they'll nerf the moves or they'll make it really hard to activate. And awakening mode. When fully charged, the Ancestor gets into an awakened mode that grants great benefits. And then the monster will reset its charges and exit awakened mode after you use the special move. When you are in the awakened mode, you gain your virtues, which are unremovable traits. They're traits you can't cleanse away no matter what. Really, really strong stuff. So, yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. Like, once they awaken, the first 2 virtues that they've shown are crazy. Because one of them is a virtue of damage mirror. No, it's skill mirror. That you can't cleanse that away. And that's, like, really insane. That unless you had Pierce, you'd be kind of screwed. Like, whatever you did to that guy, in an uncleansable trait, not a status caster, so it won't wear it out, he could reflect it all. So, you know, they're trying to make Cold Blood a bigger thing, so that'll really wreck Cold Blood. But, very long video. I even split it into 2 recording sessions. That is about it for this video. Really long one. I wanted to give you all a very thorough look on this new era, though. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you enjoyed the effort. I hope it came out well. So thank you so much for watching until the end, or maybe skipping to the important parts. It doesn't matter to me as long as you guys got the information. You know, at the end of the day, this is for you guys. And I make it for me too, because, you know, I'm not getting paid to do this. I just like making content, and I love this game. I was, you know, really cynical about these sneak peeks when I first saw them, but now I'm thinking it might be a little bit better. I'm an optimistic crab. What can I say? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like to support the video if you want to get this out there to as many people as you can, because I haven't seen anyone else talk about the ancestors, the new era, the new rarity yet, and I kind of want to be the first, you know. So let's get this out there. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts? There are so many things to have your thoughts on. Just leave your comments on as you go or something. And yeah, subscribe to join the Crab Army. We are near 40 subscribers. Absolutely massive milestone. Thank you all so much for, you know, helping me to continue grow and like leaving all the support. I saw one of my videos recently got 7 likes. That has made my year, man. That's so many. All right. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Consider doing any of those following. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found it helpful. As always, I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day. Your favorite Omni-Crab, signing out.